Right. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's edition of the WBRx orientation and business overview of the offering of the company. It's very exciting times. My name is Mitchell Holzer. I am the vice president of the company. I'm joined by my partner, Mr. Barry Koshu. And we're going to jump into a little bit of the offering here, which the first part I'm going to cover, which is the medical grade CBD, which the company was founded on. And then I'm going to turn it over to Barry, and he's going to cover the new division, which is the regenerative medicine and biologics, which is very exciting also. So with that, we're excited that we have Barry, who is the CEO of the company. And I know that he is going to go ahead and flip that slide there. But Barry's experience has been about 30 years in the marketing and distribution. Had been in the science-based nutrition, and as the Farm Bill, which made CBD legal back in 2018, launched the firm formally in October of 2019. From then, we've mobilized about 150 doctors. Barry had 30 years of experience, and right now, if you look at that, all that combined, that previous entity did about $400 million in revenue. And we believe now with Wellness Biosciences and our new division, WBRx Biologics, that will be at several hundred million just per year. So it is exciting. We're looking for new folks that can help us out with that. Of course, my background is I started out, I'm kind of a numbers guy, started out in banking and mergers and acquisitions. I was very thankful at a young age in my mid-20s, late 20s, to be associated with a company called Coach USA. That is not the leather bags and purses, that is the transportation company. We built that to $1 billion, sold it to a Scottish firm. And then I actually then ventured into the entrepreneurial space and had my own financial services company for 15 years. And then was actually referred to Barry from somebody from my church about 3 years ago. So that was a great day. So now we're continuing to grow the company. We also have 2 medical doctors. We have Dr. Nimish Patel, who is our board certified internal medicine specialist. He provides a lot of the education with the company. And then we also have Dr. Nick Giussani, who is a board certified oncologist that is with the company. Again, he is the medical director of educational development. So we have different events from time to time throughout the city here at our corporate office on Zoom, educating medical providers, healthcare professionals, consumers on the benefits of CBD. A lot of issues regarding anxiety, stress, pain, sleeplessness. And so our products, as we'll get into here, is done a great job of helping those folks out. There you see Dr. Nick Giussani, and he runs a big cancer center here in Houston on the northwest side of town, and we're excited. We'll have both of the doctors out for an event here on September 20th at our corporate office. And we also have here, as part of our executive team, Dr. Nick, or excuse me, not doctor, but Nick Evanhoff, who's our corporate counsel. So being in the CBD space, and particularly biologics with Medicare reimbursement, he provides a lot of the logistics as far as the legalities of each of those different product offerings. So we're excited about it. But what we're about here is about education and about science. And so we think we're one of the few companies out there that is providing the specialized background when it comes to the science behind CBD. So, CBD affects the system of the body called the endocannabinoid system, which is the ECS there. It's a biological system of the body. It's made of millions of receptor sites. And it helps regulate and balance all the other systems of the body. So you can see all those systems there: immune system, cardiovascular, nervous system, respiratory, all of those. It was recently discovered there in the early 90s So it's less than about 30 years. And it was considered a medical breakthrough. So most of the doctors that we're talking to are not familiar with the endocannabinoid system. But again, it's the engine of homeostasis, and it's fueled by what we call cannabinoids, which is a compound of the cannabis plant. So we think we have the complete approach when it comes to nourishing that system. Of course, here is the different types of cannabinoids. You have endocannabinoids, which are brain derived. This is actually produced naturally by the body in the form of andamine. We have phytocannabinoids, which is plant derived. This is the space with our products I'll introduce here in a minute that we're in, with THC, CBD, CBN, a lot of the different compounds of the plant. And then we also have synthetic cannabinoids, which are produced in a pharmaceutical lab. And so the most notable one there is Marinol, that a lot of oncologists and pain doctors use in helping with different pain issues. So here is a profile of the brain. So the endocannabinoid system with all those millions of receptors are broken down into two types of groups: CB1, which is the neurological profile, and then you have CB2 receptors, which are more of the immune system. So we show this because there's been a big epidemic with opioids here. That's been a crisis in the US and really across the world. And so with the overdoses and how it affects the brain, well, we just let people know that CBD, you cannot overdose on. So it has very positive benefits to these different parts of the brain, and has been very popular in helping people with a lot of different issues that we'll cover here. Here is just a profile of not only CBD and the 20 plus benefits that it has throughout the body, but also the other compounds, CBDA, CBC, CBG. We actually just introduced a new Relief Plus product that's a topical that has CBG in it, which is good for pain and inflammation. And of course, you see all of the THCA and THCV and all those. You know, the thing to note here is that as legislation allows, and it is increasing, is that we'll be able to microdose, you know, different ratios of CBD and THC, and the medicinal benefits of those are going to be pretty fantastic. So here we're just, again, educating people that CBD is a wellness product. It's not a cure-all. The elements in which CBD offers substantia, IBS, a lot of different issues. The solution here is our products, as you see there listed. Of course, it all kind of starts with those cannabinoids. Then we combine that with terpenes, which is a compound also found in the cannabis plant. It's the scent like of an orange or an apple, anti-inflammatory type products, antioxidants. You combine that with flavonoids, vitamins, minerals, omegas, proteins. Again, a complete approach. It produces what we call an entourage effect, which helps the body, you know, stay at an optimum level, not get too high, not too low. Here's our products. You know, there's that Relief Plus product I talked about as a topical. It's a roll-on, very popular. The second product there is the Metered Plus, which is a sublingual. So we have all different types of delivery systems, whether it's a topical, a sublingual. The third one is the Balanced Gel Cap, is probably our number one seller, which you just take and goes into the digestive tract. And then the last one, which is also very popular, is a tincture. You just drop underneath your tongue. And that is the sleep product. You know, sleep is a big issue for folks. That's a full spectrum product. Lots of great results. So all of our products are organically sourced, natural extraction, which is a big deal, superior formulation, system specific. And the big thing here is that we triple test our product. We have certificate of analysis, which is a big thing in the industry, and what kind of separates us out. It's a very exclusive lab report that's about $900 a batch that we do, and 80% of the companies offering CBD don't offer that. Of course, our products are physician referred. We again have about 150 doctors in our network. The products work, and as you can see, there's Dr. Patel and Dr. Jasani, and they provide a lot of great education and support for what we're doing. So that is a little bit about the products, a little bit of our education offering. But here, just to talk, of course, the industry, the future is bright. There's been strong growth since 2019. Right now, the CBD industry at the end of 2021 was about 5 billion. It's expected to be 20 billion by 2025. That's a 400% increase. Some talking heads are saying that in the next 10 to 15 years, just the CBD part of the industry is going to be $1 trillion industry. So we're excited to be in early. A lot of people are seeing this as kind of the wave of the future when it comes to natural alternatives, and to be associated with our company as a distributor, a rep, is going to be a big deal and very beneficial as you help people, and also do well financially for yourself as part of a career. So here it just shows a little bit. Of course, our company's based in Houston, Texas. Here's the footprint, not only through our distributors and reps, but also for our customers. And the reason that we've been able to scale so quickly is that we have a duplicatable 5-step marketing program when it comes to the CBD side. And so we take a page out of the pharmaceutical industry. We just have people use our product. Second, they're going to develop a testimony, a story behind how it's benefited them. And then third, we just share samples. This is where the pharmaceutical part comes in, and it's free for that person getting sampled, not free to our distributors. And then from there, people are going to want to buy that either at a retail rate or wholesale. We can offer. We have an e-commerce platform for our distributors and brand partners that they're able to utilize with technology these days. And then as part of our affiliate marketing program, what we're seeing with jobs not being what they were, people needing more income, folks are able to affiliate with our company, not only part-time, but full-time also. There's some flexibility, and can come into a growing industry like the cannabis and CBD space with wellness biosciences on that side, and do very well from a career standpoint, and maybe do things a little bit differently. So that's a little bit about the company, the structure. Lastly, before I turn it over to Barry, and he'll cover the biologics portion, is that we like to show, the benefit that we're providing for not only healthcare professionals, which we'll see here in just a minute, but also what is available for the retail space, whether it's a med spa, massage therapy, gyms, that type of facility. But here is an example of being able to chat with a healthcare professional. Let's say they have a 3,000 patient base. This could be an internal medicine doctor, family practice, you name it. But here we just show them how they can convert and have their patients utilize some of the products that we just went over. And if 10% of them are converted, that's about 300 patients, right, that are earning anywhere between 25 to 50%. So the numbers on this are pretty staggering for the healthcare professional, the gym, the massage therapy practice, is that you see those 300 patients utilizing about $150 a month. That produces about $45,000 of monthly revenue. Again, they can be positioned in our comp plan, which we'll cover here in a little bit, from a 25 to 50% margin. So that's another 135 to over $250,000 worth of revenue. If they have $300 a month being utilized by the patient base, that's 90,000 of income, which is about $250,000 up to $500,000 as part of their practice. So the doctors, these retail outlets that are looking for other alternatives of earning income, are very excited about the offering, and we're glad to be able to partner with them. So that's a little bit what's in it for the doctors, those different retail outlets. So what does that mean for a rep that was able to help educate those particular doctors and retail outlets about our CBD products. Well, we have a very strong compensation for them. We pay out what's called an immediate income or a production bonus up front from 2 to 10%, but also we have a royalty revenue share program that is a recurring income for the brand partner, for the rep that is able to connect the dots here. So one practice, you're looking at $10,000 to $27,000 just in recurring income. 5 locations, 5 practices, 54 to 135, and you can see as the number of locations that you work with go up, you're talking about $100,000 to $500,000 just in recurring income showing up month after month as part of helping educate, the marketplace and what we're doing just on the medical grade CBD side. So that's a little bit as far as the offering when it comes to the CBD. The compensation plan, just in summary on this side, retail profits that you can generate. Again, we have an e-commerce platform that you can offer. There's immediate income, and then we have the revenue royalty share that we also offer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transition into the biologics side of the house. And again, we launched the WBRx Biologics in February of this year, and really kind of hitting the ground running. So I'm going to go ahead, turn it over to Barry, and he is going to walk everybody through this side of the company. And I'll turn it over to you, Barry.
Well, as Mitchell always, just great job. And as we as a company have evolved and grown, we've been able to look out there and see some other things going on the horizon. We've been contacted by a number of different labs throughout the country that have told us a little bit about their regenerative medicine platform and how it might be a good fit. So most recently, myself and Mitchell and the company and Nick, and we really launched into a whole new company or division of Wellness Biosciences by what we refer to as WBRx Biologics. This is its own entity, its own company, its own website. And this company has a strategic relationship with Radiant and with Wound Pros. Radiant is a company that facilitates more on the provider side as it relates to wound care, which we're going to talk about. It's more podiatry and specialists in the area of wound care. Wound Care Pros is one of the premier wound care agencies in the country. And so it's a collaboration of those entities along with us as the marketing and distribution channel that has allowed us to be able to expand and grow. And here are some of the facts and the reasons behind that. If you look at chronic non-healing wounds, which is very pervasive throughout the United States, it has increased drastically because of an aging population that's not well. And many of them suffer from either pressure ulcers or diabetic foot ulcers or venous leg ulcers. A lot of specifics around senior care living, hospice, podiatry as it relates to diabetic foot ulcers, pressure ulcers because of folks in skilled nursing. There's a reduction, of staffing. COVID has had its effects. So there's a lot of things that precipitate this ever increasing change in this particular space in the increase. If you look at the statistics, you can see that it's a lot, right? 6.5 million currently are medically diagnosed with chronic non-healing wounds, but 34 million are living with diabetes right now. A percentage of those are going to move into that other category. And then there's another 88 million that are at risk. So we don't know where this is all going to fall, but the numbers are staggering in terms of the forecast. And the current financial burden imposed, by these chronic wounds is very substantial. Now, currently, over 25 billion is spent within the healthcare system as we know it right now on treating wound-related complications. And so, there's a lot of factors and facts that support, what we're looking at from a broad perspective of people that we can help, and also provide a viable business model for them to be able to go out and accelerate and grow their own opportunity within the company, right? That's their own business. So these key, wound care definitions and stats are based upon the various types of treatment outside of these grafts, which is currently the standard of care. But you have collagen matrix, fish skin, wound vacuum, and then what we're focusing on, which is the amnion membrane, the allographic membrane. The current process, and even referred to as standard of care by most commercial pay, requires some sort of skin graft. The standard of care currently, as it relates to commercial pay, and that's severe pain, significant scarring, and it is in fact its own surgical procedure. So these chronic non-healing wounds that have been around for a month or 2 months and they're not getting better, they move into stage 2, stage 3. So if they're not appropriately addressed, then they end up where a staggering statistic, I think, is that once every 17 seconds in this country, we have an amputation, which is unbelievable, right? The numbers are crazy. So when you look at that, you say, okay, what are we going to do to be able to integrate, what we can with the people that we know and we care about? These patients have been at high risk of infection, amputation, and even death. So here we go, looking at, and if you have a weak stomach, I'm sorry, but these are wounds, and this is a chronic wound diabetic patient. And this is the application of our biologics after 60, and then ultimately 90 days. So you can see when these biologics are placed over the wound, there's a drastic difference. If you look at here's an example of a 63-year-old male after 90 days, how severe that wound is and the progress that it makes with after it's being debriefed, after it's not past non-infection, and then we apply these allografts. You can see with venous leg ulcers, it's the same exact type of result, right? So these, pressure ulcers and bed sores. Here's a non-healing wound from reconstructive surgery, and unfortunately, this is a chemical burn battery acid poured on this poor young lady out in Asia. So there's a variety of different functions. So ultimately, it's having a product, once the wound is appropriately debriefed and beyond infection, that provides an opportunity for us to be able to administer these allografts and provide a very high healing rate of 90 to 95%. All the standardized treatment protocols for wound coverings and classifications and treatment protocols, we can, because of our strategic relationship with Wound Pros and Radiant, that is available. So we decrease statistically the lower extremity amputation rate. If we take these approaches, the superior wound care documentation is kind of the tip of the spear, whether it be Rita with Radiant or whether it be a whole different situation with Radiant. You're looking at now cost savings. The weekly wound care progress report that's provided from these applications that are on a phone that allow you to take a picture, get an accurate measurement of the wound, and then provide a wound picture that gives a digital measurement. And then beyond that, a detailed visit summary, progress report, and a comprehensive plan of care that gives you, based upon artificial intelligence, the appropriate care that's needed for that protocol that patient has submitted. And it's pretty amazing because that artificial intelligence just gets smarter and smarter and smarter. So there's a lot of factors that contribute to not just the superior care of the wound, but the documentation required so that when it's submitted in the form of a claim to Medicare, that it comes back paid a very high percentage of the time. So the cost savings as a Medicare Part B supplier for a skilled nursing facility or hospice or home health care is drastic. And then the cost savings allow those partners, if they choose to point and address their resources to the care of the patients. And so this increases the CMS facility ratings in many instances, as significantly reduces the incidence of chronic, pressure ulcers because of them having a better quality of care. And then that also gives them a more positive Medicare rating, for specific wound care. So here's our product criteria within Wellness Biosciences. We just say here guys, we have our protocol of an FDA letter. It's called a tissue reference group letter that supports the actual amniotic membrane that has been delivered. It supports, in this particular case, you can see Zenith. There's one for Vendage. So we have these various letters that support the product, which again, when it comes to our product portfolio currently, is Dermacyte, which is a dehydrated allograft, Zenith, and then of course now we've already announced the announcement of our liquid human amniotic fluid. WBRx Restore has already been done. Let's talk about that product. It's derived directly from the placental tissue. It's sterilized. We do not lipotize or microsize the membrane or the fluid product. It maximizes the growth factors, okay, the cytokines, right, and also the protein, which are the determining factors for any sort of healing that would take place. It's FDA indicated as a cushioning, lubricating, and protection device. So let's look at the amnion fluid for the protein analysis. You can see a little bit of information there. But that's also valuable just to understand and know a little bit about what's in the product. So getting back to our portfolio, Dermacyte, this is a great, a phenomenal allograft that has had great statistical results. It really is derived, as a result of that postpartum amniotic tissue, but it's dehydrated, so it's easy for application with no refrigeration needed in the ambient temperature storage. There's no, it's really, when you look at there's no preparation, there's no time required for thawing or for, getting it reduced in appropriate time for the patient. It's just ready and available. It's easy to handle. It conforms to the wound bed, and it naturally, addresses, some of the issues that happen between it being in a more liquid form and a hardened form, more prepared for wound healing. So all these things factor into it. You can see the variety of sizes, that we have for, most wounds. And this is an example of 2x2 to 4x8. And you have the product codes, and of course, you've got the Q code for the entire process. And you've got Zenith. This is a phenomenal. I mean, these guys do an unbelievable job. You can see how large the covering of their wound is, and their Zenith, and Zenith, the amniotic membrane. So the tip of the spear, and what allows us to have moving forward great success, is something called Woundscape outside of Rita. That's with respect to Wound Pros. Now we're on the provider side, and we're looking at what the provider can do to submit their claim directly and effectively to Medicare. It starts with a comparative analysis of the software that Woundscape has through an application on your phone that you can digitally measure a wound, have progress notes that are then responsive to the development of a claim, all the things that are needed. You can see how this software compares to some of the other softwares out there. So here's how it works. You have the wound assessment. You then have, a determination of what types of applications are needed based upon the artificial intelligence that's come back and continue to provide that information. You select the type of dressing that you think would be appropriate as a provider. And then, of course, you have the claim submission. You have the capacity to generate the reports necessary for a very clean claim to Medicare. So very simple, straightforward process. Really, if you have the capacity to develop a relationship with someone who's a decision maker, administrator, someone who's a wound care physician, a podiatrist, there's a number of different ways that we've been able to see these accounts landed. But ultimately, you have to have somewhere to start, and that's with a profile that you can submit online directly with our website. In one instance, it might be a facility driven, and the other it would be more of a healthcare provider driven. And then you can go submit the information that gives us a little bit of knowledge about the practice, amount of wounds, what the Medicare Part B mix would be, so we can then assess that particular account, and then we can do the next and make the next step happen as fast as possible, and that's engage with that account, develop a Zoom call in conjunction with the basically the executives of these companies and some clinical people on that, and then basically provide all the information needed for that entity to make a viable decision as to whether they want to move forward or not. And then all we ask for the representatives that we have is ongoing account engagement to make sure that we can keep our understandings of what they would need moving forward. And then we have the agreements that are handled by the Wound Pros or Radiant directly, so that it's not it's not problematic for anybody else. Here's a quick look at the numbers that support the Medicare allowable. Currently, as we understand it, it's $978 per cubic centimeter, but we'll just talk about $950 as the Medicare allowable. And in that instance where that's the allowable, you can see that the average wound, let's say 4x4, which is 16 centimeters, the highest allowable would be 15,200. Now, I think it's important, and we do this in our performance, to say that the vast majority are going to be at 80%, but here's the overall allowable. We'll start here, and then we'll reverse engineer and work our way back. So rebate refers to the discount that a provider is allowed to have by Medicare as long as they're treating at least of these wounds on a monthly basis, at least 5. And that makes them eligible for a rebate or a discount. So the difference between the cost that's associated with the total reimbursement and their net per application on a 4x4 is about $6,080, a little over $6,000. So you can take that and carve that up. You can make it higher or lower, but I can tell you that's the middle of the road as it relates to the size of the wounds. And then we can look at a pro forma directed to a provider. A provider would be able to look at this and see that they have, we'll call it 2.5 wounds a week. What is that? That's probably a total of about 10 a month. So 10 unique visits a month in month 1, and then performed over 12 months, you would have a recurring amount because you're going to not only take care of that wound one time with one application, you're going to be taking care of that wound every week with new applications and up to 10 of those applications. So you can see that's how we build up a pro forma here of about 50 of these skin substitutes and with these allografts, these amnion allografts on a monthly basis. And over time, the reimbursement you can see starts off even with a 10% prediction of folks that have 100%, 90 having not 100%, having 80%. And that's probably pretty accurate. I think that the invoice at 60% relative to the net income of the practice shows you what this opportunity is for a provider from a fiduciary perspective once they have these types of wounds. And look to our representatives, the people that are working within our business model, listening to this information, choosing to engage with us and get involved in our affiliate marketing strategy. You can see the reimbursement up to 10%. It's a very high reimbursement working with that same forecast of having a network of say 50 of these skin subs on a monthly basis. If you think it's half of that, then you can take that 45,000 a month and trim it down to 22,000. And that's that'd be 2.5 practices. So either way you want to look at it, you can get a gauge on what it means to have this reimbursement per unit, the rebate to the physician, the amount of money that's invoiced, and then the total invoice and calculates to a reimbursement. What does it mean within our compensation strategy? We'll take one account, 10 skin subs. For one account, personally, that you've gone out and landed, it's going to be somewhere between $1,824 a month to $9,120. The same exact account, but differences are based upon where you are ranked within our compensation plan. And we forecast a 3-month startup with 9 months, saying that it takes you 3 months to get one account. Now you're looking at a difference in the revenue. It all is based upon where you start your business, and that's a period of time that you qualify to become effective at a rank. And once you're effective at a rank within our comp plan, you now participate in retail profits and production bonuses, royalty income, 3 ways to earn. You set your own hours, you work from home, and unlimited, potential associated with all this. It's about duplicating a very simple marketing strategy, up to 10% bonus, production bonus as you're bringing people into the business, and up to 10% royalty on all the earnings that you have on the ongoing account with the brand partner or with an account that's established in biologics. On both ends, you earn through our affiliate marketing program. And if you understand what we're talking about, you go from brand partner anywhere from there all the way up to the highest rank, which is PPC. And there's a variance of how much they have on a discount and how much they earn. Once you accomplish a rank in our comp plan, you never lose it based upon production. We don't require you to do anything on a monthly basis. Once you've landed a rank, you can never move backward. You can only move forward. Big difference between us and other companies. Other thing we said, you can start at any rank you choose to based upon a criteria that we establish, and that's just based upon people looking at the business model. Do I want to become an independent brand partner, have back office access and all the information I need to track my organization and my volume and what I'm doing within my business? We also provide a way for you to scale and advance through our compensation plan, anywhere from independent brand partner all the way to PPC, through 2 concepts. One is personal volume, and that is all of the purchases that you've made directly from the company, okay? And all the purchases that are made from those that you have told about the business, that have looked at it. You get 100% of your personal volume, and you get 50% of their personal volume toward advancement in the comp plan. And that measurement is how much retail volume were you responsible for in that calendar month. And then here's the wholesale prices that are attached to these various ranks that allow people to start their business wherever they choose to. Why would they start at manager versus director, or why would they start at PPC? In most cases, if they look at the business model, they realize there's a drastic difference in percentage. There's a drastic difference in the profit. I mean, you can see that you're talking about 25 on one end, 100% on the other on the profit margin, but then you have a scaled higher amount from 2 to 10%. Well, there's 2 ways of accomplishing this. Either you can go out and between you and your personal efforts, and then other people that you talk to, or the other accounts that you establish, you can land yourself at a higher rank within the business at an earlier stage, and then be able to capitalize on any account that is determined directly with you. So if you start your business as an executive, when you bring on an account as an executive, then you're going to always earn on that account as an executive at 4%. Now, if in the further months you increase your rank to a higher percentage, then you'll lock in that percentage on those accounts that are established. It's called your effective month. So you can be qualified and then effective as an executive. And then as you increase, become an effective regional director. Now, on all accounts moving forward, you have the ability to generate a higher revenue on those accounts moving forward. If there's money left on the table, it's because maybe you assess that your contact base, your credibility within your contact base, or your financial situation said you should be at a lower. It will not be our choice. It will be your choice. You determine. We have a unique affiliate marketing strategy in that we let you determine whatever money is generated from these accounts, what's brought on, which is very, it's fiduciarily very high. Then the difference is what the company would keep versus what we would allow you to have. So we allow you to really be an entrepreneur and determine what's the right spot for you. We have a benefits program that's associated with our business. And we've already initiated our travel program. We're going to extend that here pretty quick. And then we have a car program in the 550 Mercedes S. Both are great. It's just that when you're driving a car that other people pay for, it drives better. It's just your perspective. As we're working together, building a community, helping you generate as much income as we can, we firmly believe that the industries of distribution that we support with the cannabis CBD space or the regenerative medicine space is an optimum place for the right type of entrepreneur to be. And it's not for everybody. We're not suggesting for 1 second that we are. What we are suggesting is that we think that we're attracting a phenomenal group of people. There's a lot of work involved to make it where we know we're going to make it. But we're excited about working with a group of people that want to be part of that ground floor, that foundation, right, Mitchell, that we can just tee up our efforts and work with those key people to make this thing what it can be. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, brother.
All right. Well, we appreciate you walking through the offering on the biologic side. Of course, the CBD, we've positioned ourselves very well as far as the education when it comes to the healthcare professionals and consumers on that side, and really differentiated ourselves. So it's been great being with everybody this evening.